And just 1 minute before that, we had heard the captain very calmly saying over the radio, "Good night, Malaysia 370." Now, he's calm. He doesn't sound like somebody who's got a gun to his head. So the assumption is, well, in a minute, somebody couldn't break through the cockpit door with fire axes without the flight crew making a Mayday call, squawking hijack. 16, But so what you and I are talking about right now, John, is I think a really crucial and overlooked aspect of this case, which is that something happened which is really weird. It's really unusual, and it's being treated, that aspect has been glossed over, where people are just like, yeah, and then the STU got rebooted. And I've been saying, wait, stop. That's really weird. That's really bizarre. That's not something that would ever happen normally. And we have to, and so then, because the entire mystery then turns on that fact. So then they have this new data, and it turns out that because this rather complicated system of sending, processing information on the plane, re-encoding it for satellite transmission, sending it up to the satellite, having it downlink back, and all the processing and all the recording and everything, because that system was not working in the way it was originally engineered to work, navigational information had kind of leaked into it. That wasn't supposed to. If the system was working as designed, there would be no hints of where the plane went, but there were. And because of two weird things now. One, that the thing was turned on at all, having been turned off, which is also another whole weird thing. And now there's come to find, contrary to all expectation, there's actually information in it that we wouldn't expect to be there. Now, we have to derive a new sort of mathematical formula to figure out what it means. But once we figured out what it means, it tells us where in the seabed the thing is. And this is where I sort of parted ways with all my colleagues, because I'm saying to them, look, you're about to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a seabed search, which is predicated entirely on a very weird thing. It's a weird thing. And here's another thing, which is that it's weird and it's really hard to explain from the perspective of your own hypothesis. Now, what is your hypothesis? Now, I mentioned earlier that the thing went electronically dark within seconds of passing the last waypoint. Okay, so somebody is doing a bunch of things. They're turning things off. Most of all, they're flying the plane because they're doing this 180. And just 1 minute before that, we had heard the captain very calmly saying over the radio, "Good night, Malaysia 370." Now, he's calm. He doesn't sound like somebody who's got a gun to his head. So the assumption is, well, in a minute, somebody couldn't break through the cockpit door with fire axes without the flight crew making a Mayday call, squawking hijack, whatever you would do, presumably if someone's fighting you in the cockpit, especially post 9/11. So here's the assumption. Where do you fly a plane from? The cockpit. What's the total universe of all the places you can fly a plane from? The cockpit. That's it. That's your only choice. So you've got two people behind a locked door, like an Agatha Christie, mystery. It must be somebody that's in the manor house, right? And so it's either this highly experienced captain who's got over 10,000 hours, or it's the new guy who's just on his first official flight as a fully qualified first officer. So given how complicated all this is, with all these boxes being turned off and on, it has to be the captain, right? And so everything that flowed from that, all of the assumptions are that it had to be the captain. He did all these crazy things. Okay, so why? Why would he do all these crazy things? It doesn't seem to make any sense. And you asked, you didn't know how to reboot the SDU. There's two ways to do it. One is to leave the cockpit, go to the area next to the first class lavatory, pull up the carpet, open the hatch, go down, go off to your left. There's a circuit breaker panel, and if you pull 3 circuit breakers, boom, this box goes dead, and then you can come back later and turn it back on if you want. That is a lot to do in the 1 minute between Goodnight Malaysia 370 and the thing going dark. So, and if it's done from the cockpit, what you have to do is to isolate the entire left AC bus. Now, you and I had talked earlier about how you're not supposed to pull a circuit breaker. Pulling a circuit bus, isolating a circuit bus, is like pulling 30 circuit breakers all at once. Like that would be a really even more extreme, crazy thing to do, right?
It would. All right.